Hello, how are you? Happy Monday. Both of my ears are plugged. I don't know what's going on. Okay, so today I wanted to talk about a few things that are happening in the vegan movement. I've got my vegan Vice shirt on, but I'm not going to tell you which company I got it from because this bitch tried to cancel me after I worked with her several times. So fuck her. She doesn't get to get my endorsement. I mean, humans are the worst. Are we not the worst? We're competitive, we're petty, we have a problem with somebody and then just like think about how we get back to them. We make up ideas about somebody and then it's not even true. Like, I feel like I really need a change in my life because I've just been in vegan community too long. My ears. I feel like I was an annoying church kid that was trying to push veganism. No, I'm sorry. Rewind. I feel like I was an annoying church kid because I was indoctrinated with Christianity from a very young age, and then I actually believed it because I was told by adults that I thought knew things that Christianity was true. So then I became like an evangelical and I tried to get people saved. I went to mission trips in Mexico City as a kid. I wrote letters to my family members about more mission work I wanted to do. I married at 22. I went into service for God, like with various churches and like trying to get people to believe in Jesus. And now it's like that same annoying mentality that I did in church world, I've just been doing in vegan world. And like, I'm looking at myself, I'm looking at my Facebook posts, I'm looking at like this life and identity that I've built for myself, and I'm just like, oh my God, I'm so annoying. I'm so annoying. And I'm just sort of at this spot now, I'm like at a standstill. I'm like, holy shit, I feel like I've been going about this wrong. I've been trying to like force people to believe something that I believe, that they might be coming from a completely different place, and I've been judgmental. I've been like really tunnel focused on veganism for many years, and I think it's like part of the answer to an existential sadness that I have of just like, where am I? What's an arm? Why am I in a body? What am I supposed to do with my fucking life? Seriously, what am I supposed to do? I definitely do not want to reproduce myself. I think that is like the grossest plan ever. I don't want to like sleep in a bed with the same male for another 30 years. I don't want to like go to family events where we just like chit chat about who's doing what. I don't want to like work for some high powered career where I have to be all businessy and sell things that like just perpetuate all these dishonesties that we all have with each other and with our relationship to nature and the world, that's just like covering up how fucking absurd all of this is. It's fucking absurd to be like conscious, living in like a flesh and bone body with like a heart beating and bones and blood. I'm like, why am I disgusted by the way like life works? Why am I disgusted by like the blood and shit and bones and like raw material of life? Like, I am not even an animal person. I like cats. Other animals, I can appreciate them when they're on like a screen or from afar, but I don't want to like be up close and personal with all the body fluids of animals either. I want to fight for justice. I don't want them to be factory farmed. I don't want them to be tortured, murdered, raped, all of the things that animals are right now in our factory farming system. And then like to do that and then eat it? Like, so veganism to me just seems like literally the most common sense thing. Like, okay, I don't want to be a part of an industry that like breeds and kills in gross ways and pumps these animals full of all kinds of stuff and then like chops up their bodies, puts them in plastic, sends it out to the world, and then like I'm gonna eat it at a restaurant like I'm fancy, or I'm gonna like cook it for lunch. Like, to me, that's disgusting. But I am at this place in my life where like it's just all so gross, and so I am 42, and I need to like survive. I have to keep myself alive and stay relevant in society for probably another X amount of years. And I'm just like why? What is the point? So then I try to think, okay, well, better to like not slowly spiral into a negative tunnel vortex of anger and hopelessness. Like, that doesn't sound great. So okay, I guess I'll work for the animals because they're innocent. But like, when you work for the animals, you also have to work with other vegans. And you know, I work in the vegan field, and there's these woke vegans now. This is like a new thing. And there's this lady, there's like about like 6 of them that are just like at the helm. Okay, there's probably hundreds of thousands, millions of vegans. And in every city, you're probably gonna run across some of these woke vegans. And this woke vegan, I don't mind naming names because they're a detriment to the movement. They're a toxin. They're actually harming the animals because they're creating disunity in the vegan movement, and they're making us turn against each other and not be able to work together against the big industries that we actually need to fight against. And there's people like Carol Adams. Carol Adams is a lady that wrote The Sexual Politics of Meat back in like the 70s or 80s. Okay, great name, Carol. I've never read it, but I like your feminist vibe, you know? You're standing up for the women animals, and as you should be. But like, fast forward X amount of years later, now she's working, you know, still peddling the same ideas, like with this new book, something about like pornography of meat or whatever. Okay, fine, it worked for you back then, it's working for you now. But she had a problem with some person that's an amazing person that started a big organization that does these conferences for animal rights activists. Well, then Carol decides that she has a personal problem with the way this guy like did something back in like the Me Too movement time. But the thing is, he was investigated. It turned out it was just a misunderstanding, or it was something that wasn't even like a big deal. It was looked into. He was looked into by an outside firm, but he had a couple of past employees that like had a problem with him too. And you know, that happens when you have employees, when you've been in the business for like, you know, 40 years and you're coming from a different generation. I mean, there's going to be communication stuff. I don't know. I wasn't there with those past employees, but like this fucking lady, Carol, and 2 of these past employees have gotten on this vendetta to cancel everything that this guy's vegan organization is up to. So now we can't have a conference because this lady went to all these different speakers. It's like, boycott this conference. Okay, you're telling people to boycott a vegan conference when you want more vegan people in the world. It's just like, what the fuck? And then there's like, so there's people like this. There's people like this guy Omawale who runs Black Veg Fest, who's like spending his time now on like this allyship program for white vegans to understand black vegans. And he said himself, he's like the son of a Black Panther. Okay, great, the work that they did. I wasn't involved in that time of the universe, you know, and I'm not involved in it now, but I'm glad that you have something that you're passionate about. But don't bring all of that anger into the animal rights movement. Don't try to divide us. Don't try to like get on me calling me racist because you didn't like my right-wing media that I put on my Facebook page. I'm allowed to vote for and think about whatever I want to think. And who are you to judge me and say that you think that I'm a racist because what, I didn't say the right things that you wanted to say? It's like about control and ego with these people. And then like vegans love to jump on the wokiest of the wokest because like veganism like attracts this woke mentality anyway because these people think they're right. And when it comes to like factory farming and the way animals are treated and how, the shit that industry is, and now that we're putting into our body, they are right. Okay, but it attracts these people that are just kind of naturally like wokey wokes. It's my theory that the Carols and the Omawales, and there's some bitch Allie that runs this organization called Voters for Animal Rights, and she just makes it her vendetta to cancel people too, to cancel my event in New York City, which was called Vegan Spring Fest. She got on all these vegans to not do it, and guess what? They didn't. The event was awful. Nobody participated. I had to do it myself. I mean, this is a vegan event that we promote out to the public, and people come and they get literature, and it's been going on for like 12 years. And these two events as examples are ways like to inspire vegan activists. They are meant to train people about the atrocities that are happening to animals. They're meant to like lift up and make more activists. And then we have a couple people that are mad about something personally or are too woke and think they're so smart that they want to cancel other vegan activists. I mean, this is craziness. We have a huge industry to fight against, and then we've got a few people that are fighting people in their own movement. I mean, it's got to stop. These people that are fighting with other people in the vegan movement, pointing fingers at them and telling them that they're this and they're that and trying to end vegan events is the biggest detriment to the animal rights community right now. And these people are the loudest, and they will stop at nothing. And in my opinion, they're really angry and sad, and their personal lives are not where they want them to be. And I just want to say nobody's is right now. We are all so broken and confused. I mean, I was up the other night thinking, oh my God, I have bones. I have a heart that like regenerates blood. Like, I'm gonna have to live in this body for like another X amount of years, and it's like really upsetting. I didn't ask to be here. Nobody asked to be here. We're all just like trying to figure this out. And I really think these woke vegans need to be put in their place, and we need to stand up against them and say, listen, stop fighting other activists because of like something that you think is true. That's true for you maybe in your head, but not everybody else. Let the Animal Rights Conference happen. Let these speakers have their voice. You know, she was even going so far as to tell them that she would like come after them and their businesses if they spoke. Like, we can't let these people win. This is not a new thing. These people have been around since the beginning of humanity, and they just need to be called out now. The vegans like love the wokiest of the woke because it attracts a lot of woke people. And like, I just want to say to them, just get your personal lives together. Get happy again. Okay, I don't know what's going on in your brain. I don't know what existential crisis you're having. We're all having it, but we're not turning on each other. We're not using hatred and pointing fingers. You know who we should be pointing the fingers at is like the way the industry is run. All right, following the money, the food industry, the farm bill that's like literally writing a check for the death of animals every year by the billions. So even though vegans like are growing and growing and growing in number, it's like not going to change that check that's being written. It's like an order of death. So I started thinking, okay, first of all, we need to get in on the inside, and also like vegan food. It's good to raise awareness and help get in the vegan food world, but that's like a slower path because that means like more vegans and more people are asking for vegan options. So then like the industry has to slowly cater to them because it's all about the money, but that's going to take even longer because that's like a slow climb, which is still good. But even with vegan food, I'm like, I still kind of have a problem with the processed food and the waste it creates, and it's like disconnection to whole foods and to nature. But then I look at myself and I'm like, I'm a hypocrite because I buy that. I don't have access to a garden. I mean, I tried to grow my own food and it was really hard. Right before the the lockdowns last year, I bought all these seeds and I had these like these crates built for me. I spent money like to have somebody build me some things, and I was just like, they would just die. My tomatoes died. You know, I didn't have the right soil. I left for a week. I forgot to water them. Like, I am not equipped to make my own food. I'm like a little like dependent baby on the food system. So it's like I can't really criticize the waste that like a vegan processed food makes because like I'm literally buying that. Plus I'm in Puerto Rico, so all the produce has to like come in from the US on a ship, and it's really expensive. And there's only like certain things that you can get that are grown on the island, but it's like not even that many things that I like. So my food life is a disaster living here. I mean, I buy Beyond Meat meatballs, and what else do I eat? Like pasta, rice. I'm not even like eating that great of things. So what's my point? My point is like back to activists. So how do we get into politics and like change that? Oh, did the vegans want to help with the vegan political party, the Humane Party, a couple years ago, to get like a third party gaining steam? No, of course they didn't. They'd rather like stick with the Democrats because they're the wokiest right now. I don't know if the wokiest is going to change over time, but the woke vegans are toxic for the movement. They're angry. A lot of times they're Facebook moderators because like they get a little bit of control, and then they like to like spend their like sad little lives behind their computers and like deleting that person, and like these mentality of people end up being like the moderators, and that's the problem, because they end up being the gatekeepers of a lot of our communication. And we see that happening even in like the world at large. It's like the people in the media pushing their woke culture that is actually dividing us, when we could probably all see eye to eye on a lot more things if we weren't being controlled and manipulated by these gatekeepers of information. And it's just disgusting, and I'm sick of it in the animal rights community. I'm sick of these people canceling actual vegan events like the one I plan in New York, like this Animal Rights National Conference, because like somebody's sad with their personal life and has a personal vendetta against somebody. And you know, how should we respond? I think we should like stick up for the people that are being canceled when it comes to vegan community, and we should make a stand against these people that if they don't have anything nice to say about the other activists, just recognize, okay, the activist is playing a role in their vegan world, and I'm at the very least not going to go out of my way like Carol Adams to try to cancel other vegan activists, because in the end that harms the animals even more. And we need to band together because we're up against like a huge almost impossible industry and political structure that like not enough of us are infiltrated in yet. So all you woke vegans, just shut up and support people that support not harming animals. Also, just to remember, just because you're vegan doesn't mean that you're like a great person. I'm sorry, this happened in church world too. I was taught growing up that like Christians are people that you just love no matter what. It's like, no, human beings have a nature, and we're competitive, we're petty, we're a lot of things, and we just need to recognize that. We all have good and bad in us. And you got like, let's be a little bit more fierce and have our eyes open to the fact that just because they're vegan doesn't mean that they're like a great person. Okay, there's also a lot of non-vegans that just have a blind spot towards eating animals or have some other reason that they do it. Let's maybe encourage them to like in a friendlier way to reduce meat and come up with strategies to talk to them better, because there's some really great non-vegans out there too. So it's my rant for today, woke vegans. So thank you for listening, and I hope someday we can free the animals, save the animals, and get people to stop eating them. They're our friends, and they deserve to live just like we do. Thank you.